everybody, and welcome to Reed's Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out at SpiderManCrawlspace.com. Well, I'm back here, guys, to review Amazing Spider-Man 86, aka 87, and of course, Ben Reilly Spider-Man issue number 1. Let's get into the aftermath of Otto's attack as we get into the next primitive chapter here of Spider-Man Beyond with Zeb Wells and Mike Upland giving us the chapter. So first of all, with the prose, I have to say this actually works very well because we really see what immediately pretty much what happened to Ben after everything with Dr. Octopus and him getting the drive about finding out what Beyond was behind. I really love the pieces between Ashley Kafka and Ben Reilly as we get a really nice with their relationship, both professional and as friends, but also getting a lot of questions answered why Ben was seeing the Hall of Figures, why his memory seems to not be correctly, and actually finding out that Beyond's actually been scrubbing his memory. One with the first time was because Ben wanted that information gone for what happened to him during the clone conspiracy, as well as what happened to him at the end of Peter David's run on Scarlet Spider. It's a very dark psychosis pieces. It also shows that despite the fact that Beyond's done some horrible things to Ben, he actually walked himself into it. But I really love the revelations when he actually finds out what had happened, that everything Otto said was a lie, that there's some really bad things, and the reason he's been agitated, and passing that information to Janine was actually great too. And I love Janine's characterization, how she actually pulls on everything, gets herself to get out of the building from Beyond, why Ben, of course, is busy having being attacked. But that kind of leads to the cons too. Even though we're at the halfway mark and Spider-Man Beyond's going to be over here in a couple more months, I mean, honestly, 2.5 months. April's just around the corner, believe it or not. But the fact that Ben actually gets all this information, but even more the moments too about Maxine Danger and all the pieces of Beyond Corporation, about how they even say how she was kind of gullible to believe that they weren't going to follow her information, and how she's actually been using this information, how Otto's kind of screwed everything up, and now that Ben has gone past where he needs to go, he's now a liability. So we don't get the full plans yet of Beyond, even though we know that's coming up too, but it kind of has the fact where it's kind of, well, we got a gotcha mode with a, duh, you should have thought about this process a little bit more. And it really kind of flows the story a little bit. It has a good beginning, middle, and end, and the cliffhanger is really shocking when Ben's memories are actually having a collapse of everything that happens with him, the fact he's unraveling all his memories as a clone, as it's revealed exactly how memories work with clones, as Kafka kind of explains it during their session. It's a really good issue, and I feel really bad for Ben and everything happens, and I'm rooting for Janine, of course, where she's taking the drive and the information too. So it's pretty good. I'm actually going to give it an A-. I was actually really happy with the issue. I just felt like the whole gotcha moment when Maxine kind of reveals that she lied to Ashley, and even Maxine goes, oh, come on, you got that stupid and gullible? You are a real idiot. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do my job here. But of course, the fact that things are not so easily. Now Maxine's actually in a panic towards the end when Ben's memories are crashing. So it's a really nice piece, and the art works really well, and it also gives some more tidbits about exactly how the storyline was set up, that the fact that Beyond's been behind almost everything since day one. So it's going to be interesting to see how this story concludes. But I'm pretty happy with this, and I think Zeb Wells and Michael Upland actually do a very good job with the story itself. But an A-, believe it or not. I'm giving it a pretty high grade. But now let's look up to the book I thought was fantastic, even though it's a miniseries, still saving our favorite clone Spider-Man, Ben Reilly, by J.M. Diamantis, of course, who was a huge part of the 90s Spider-Man run and part of the Clone Saga. So let's get into the prose. First of all, this just feels like not only a series we would like, but actually it just feels like going old school. The fact the story takes place right after the Parkers left for Portland back in the 90s series during the Clone Saga and before Peter Parker came back into here. It's just got such nice fees. I love how JM gets right into the points of Ravencroft that really has been brought back to Lex a couple years thanks to Nick Spencer, but really got to the point of exactly how it worked, how it differed from, say, Arkham Asylum and Batman, and actually really talking about the original Ashley Kafka and why she was so important and how the friendship formed with Ben Reilly. It is really well done, especially for parts of Ben's past coming out, such as Carrion coming up and his motivation showing up, and the fact that he's had a psychotic breakthrough and everything happens, and Ben actually giving him that ability to try to calm down the beat, which really gives a nice reason why a lot of people liked Ben Reilly. Unlike why he might be a clone of Peter, he had his own ways to do things, but at the same time, he got him into trouble. Also, I love seeing the Daily Grind cast again, too, because that's where Ben worked as a coffee waiter at this company. So to see John Diaz, Hope Olsen, and all the other characters showing back up just brings such wonderful memories, and JM just has the characters down pat. Seeing them again, who we haven't seen in so many years that were introduced back in Sensational Spider-Man #1. It is so well done seeing the characters talking about everything that's going on with Spider-Man, and even the moments too where Ben actually runs into J. Jonah Jameson's on the street and him calling him Peter, and he's like, "I am not Peter. Stop thinking I am. And you know what? Go get a life, Jonah. We're tired of you worrying about Spider-Man." It's really such great moments. I love also the bring-ins of Vermin being brought into the murder mystery that's going on in the background for this first issue, and the fact they acknowledge Mary Jane's pregnancy in this too. It's like One More Day is kind of completely ignored. It is such a well done story. The artwork is really good. It gives me a very 90s feel. It kind of a little bit of Mike Ringo's art into it, but he does such a nice job with the story. And the cliffhanger at the end with the scorpion in his apartment basically saying, "I found you, Spider-Man." It is so cool. Plus, this storyline takes place right after what had happened with the Scorpion in Spider-Man Unlimited, which was still Ben Reilly's storyline before he just magically appeared in the original relaunch back in '88. So I am really looking forward to this. This is a really good thing. This gets a solid A+ from me. This was a great first issue, and I'm looking forward to see where the next 4 go. So good job to the entire creative time of Ben Reilly Spider-Man. And you know that, guys, it's coming up clones and A's for Ben Reilly. Who would have guessed? And on that note, guys, I think I'm going to get out of here. So please check us out on the Spider-Man Crawl Space. Check out our social medias. Check out our podcasts and more for amazing times. And also think about subscribing on Patreon, too, for the Spider-Man Crawl Space for more exciting, amazing things that you can do to help support the Crawl Space. And on that note, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm kind of cold. I want my sweater back on. And I'll see everybody later on the Crawl Space.